as you immediately apply new skills, making you better at what you do. Upward mobility, by enhancing your earnings potential and career autonomy. We offer on-demand and fast-track certification test preparation courses. At HR Certified, we fully embrace our role in bridging the gap between where you are and where you want to be. Join over the 500 graduates before you. Take the next step in your career. Get HR Certified. To learn more, please visit www.gethrcertified.com.
Welcome, everyone. My name is Anthony Howard. I'm the founder and CEO of HR Certified. And we want to thank you all for taking time out of your busy day to join us this afternoon on what I would call definitely a pinnacle event. I'm joined by representatives of HRCI as well as NAAA HR in regards to into a specific need that there is an awareness of, but no one talks loudly about, which is direct pathways to enter and grow in this profession. I want everybody that's here to go ahead and shout out where you're from, how you heard about the event, so that we can connect to one another. Because I'm sure there's one similarity that most of you have, and that was a non-traditional route to enter this space. Many of you may have pivoted from other careers, but someone gave you a shot, or you are looking to enter and grow into this space. How do you do that? And we're looking to solve that not only for those that are currently looking now, but also for our next generation. I want to read something to you because this is actually very personally connected to me, because it is the charge of HR Certified. Our vision is to, and all companies should have a vision statement, something to aspire to. And our vision statement is to increase diversity within the corporate HR departments nationwide through organic attraction and upskilling efforts. Why do this? We believe that a more diverse HR department or HR team can create even better workplaces in this multicultural, multi-generational era, in which its turn is what generate better returns for the business. And in July, just briefly, in July 2022, that was the day that I reclaimed my life and I found unwavering purpose in that vision. I found my why and translated it to the vision of HR Certified. And all changes that we are doing or that we're supporting is consistent with that vision. And this is the reason why this is very exciting to us. Uh, Ever since then, we've we've built community, we've championed scholarships, we've shared thought leadership online, we've connected with the next generation. We're on TikTok, we're on showing up in different events where y'all young people are, and we've broken down many informational barriers. We've advocated for diversity and inclusion. We've even won awards for our work in this. And now we're partnering with our strategic partners with NAAA HR and HRCI and changing the HR landscape by creating new pathways for diverse talent to enter and flourish in the industry. And we have to start somewhere. And that start is with this pilot that we're going to go over today, targeting historically Black colleges and universities to include Morgan State University, University of Maryland, Eastern Shore, Howard University, Hampton University. And this event is about more about that pilot and how we're hoping, where we're looking to shape the future of HR, explore this in more detail, and more importantly, how you can help. If and I'm trying to see the chat here. Here. Oh yes, I see. Let us know where you're from, what schools you're repping. Also, tell us how did you enter this space, right? So that's a little bit about me, about HR Certified. I want to go ahead and bring up our esteemed panelists before we really dive into the program here. All right, let me take that screen down. Hey JD, hi Sherry.
Hello, hello.
So
Good morning.
good morning, good morning. Why don't we start off ladies first, chivalry's not dead. Sherry, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself to us and your role in this entire pilot?
Absolutely. So, I am the executive director of the Global Leadership Institute. So, we are partnering with Anthony Howard with HR Certified and HRCI JD. And so, we're partnering together to bring forward this wonderful program.
And JD,
Hello, everybody. Welcome to this session. I hope everybody can hear me okay. Happy to have you all here with us, learn a little bit more about how to advance in your career in HR. My name is JD Nomdedeu. I'm Managing Director of Global Operations at HRCI, HR Certification Institute. We are partners, strategic partners with NAAA HR, and we work with Anthony Howard. Often for anything that has to do with preparation. NAAA HR has been an amazing partner for years. We have often found that our community is their community, you are our community, and we're able to advance together for the improvement of the HR profession. And Anthony, he is one of the most dynamic instructors. He's passionate about HR, he's passionate about learning, and he's one of those people who makes learning just seamless. So we're happy to put this together. HRCI and myself very excited about this HBCU initiative. I went for my master's degree to University of the District of Columbia, an HBCU institution, and I got to learn the impact of that kind of academic institution and the community that it benefits and the platform that it provides to a lot of people for the advancement of their professional career. So I hope that this is one of those things that not only is success through those of you who are interested in this program, but that we're able to replicate throughout the whole network and community of HBCU. So looking forward to see how we can assist and help everybody here today.
Yeah, our relationship goes deep, and I want you to type this if and hear it strongly. Your network is your net worth. It truly is. When I first pivoted into human resources, I joined NAAA HR Atlanta, and shortly after, I gained my certification, my PHR certification, and we're talking about many years later. We're here. Never would have thought that at all. So nurture those relationships, and I think that is one of the benefits of this program that we're going to really talk about, because I'm if you put into to the chat, what was your break to get into HR? The chances are it wasn't that you just applied and they called you. More than likely, there was something else that was also a part of that to get you had to do something. You had to connect to somebody. You had to do a combination of things. And still, there are people who are still trying to push through, right? So we're trying to make that pathway just much more clearer. So I wanted to kind of talk about, and Sherry and JD, if you could talk about the importance of diversity and inclusion in HR. I know explained HR Certified's view on this. Sherry, from an aspect of representing NAAA HR, the National Association African Americans in Human Resources. Why is this endeavor so important?
For sure. Would you like me to start?
I pointed it. Sherry, you good?
Oh, I'll start.
All right.
Okay. I'm here for it. So, when it comes to diversity, equity, and inclusion, I do think it allows for a lot of experiences to essentially come to the table and be able to implement change. Oftentimes, when we think the same, we talk the same, we look the same, we act the same, we get the same results. And so, when you're looking at growth and opportunities to expand how we think, how we do business, and just essentially how we work with one another. It's easier to do that when we work collaboratively, appreciating the differences that everybody brings to that table and implementing that as part of the process. And so I do think it is a really great way to value one another's uniqueness and essentially create growth around that opportunity. What's your thoughts on that, JD?
Yeah, no doubt that diversity and inclusion are something that make any work environment more successful. Any society is going to be able to thrive because of that different vision, different angles, different perspectives to how to do things. It's in the discussion. We all are humans. We all experience the same sort of thing. That the way that we interpret that sort of thing and the way that we take action is different. And sometimes when we want to do something together, that's when we come up with the best options. As the pandemic was beginning, I remember when HRCI was getting a lot of feedback about the struggles of how people were dealing with it, the HR professionals who were having a really hard time trying to make sure that they were taking care of their employees, of their talent. And HRCI stepped up and we did several things about that. We offer a certificate in diversity and inclusion through our sister company, the HR Standards Institute. We offer organization certification in diversity and inclusion, which I know that NHRH pursue and earn. So it's one of those things that you realize you have to keep it in mind because it's going to make you better. And the pivotal point in any organization when it comes to diversity and inclusion is going to be the HR team. Because of the attraction and retention of talent, the HR professionals, the HR department is going to be essential to maintain that plural environment, that diversity of employees that are going to make any workspace better, as Sherry was saying, so that it's not just one single vision and everybody's just kind of like doing the same thing without thinking of all the multiple angles that could be taken into consideration.
Yeah, and a huge thing, and again, this is just overall experience of what I heard and also what I have experienced, is that representation is important. When you're able to see yourself doing that, not only does it empower you more, but you have a deeper advocacy for in this space, right? I believe, and again, this is my personal experience, is that it kind of was drove my imposter syndrome, because I didn't see myself in a lot of these spaces. I would go to a SHRM conference, I wouldn't see myself there, or I would be in these corporate environments and I would be the only. And it doesn't negate the importance of the role. I enjoy what I do. I showed up the way that I should. And I'm sorry, excuse me. As you can see, I'm kind of getting over some allergies going on here, but for HR is not an exception to what we drive within our companies. We are a microcosm of the greater organization, and that tapestry of experiences, lived in experiences, is truly one of the barriers for diverse talent to enter and grow into this space. It doesn't make it impossible. It just makes it more difficult when the industry is not completely representatives of the workforce, or that or the employees, or its customers, right? So though I look, the chat is blowing up, okay? But when you see yourself, it does reduce barriers to enter and grow in this space. So what does the commitment from HRCI and NAAA HR comes into this pilot program? So I was hoping to get give some additional context for those that are listening to this about where did this pilot program come up in the first place? Who wants to start? You want to start, Sherry?
I mean, sure, I can answer the first one again too. I'm here for this. So,
Okay.
essentially, this grew out of a desire to essentially work with HBCUs, and HBCU graduates to essentially ensure that they earn a APHR, at the completion of their graduate experience. And so it is really meant to complement that educational experience and also better position them for career opportunities, mentorship opportunities, and even if necessary, some internship placements. And so very helpful to when you graduate, we want to make sure that you're able to get a job, you know what I mean? And to be competitive in this HR space.
And JD?
So from the HRCI perspective, for a few years now, we have been working with academic institutions through the curriculum alignment program. And what it's all about is any university, higher academic institution that has an HR degree or anything that's connected to the HR space, we review that program and we try to figure out how is that connected to the already existing HRCI certification, so that we're able to come up with something that enriches the academic program degrees that some of these universities are offering, and put on top of it the professional certification that HRCI has demonstrated that is valuable to HR professionals as they join the workforce. So in speaking with NHHR, they said, hey, we have several universities that I want to do something about that. How about we just put it all together and we make it an actual program? So this is where we are.
And let me tell you, personally, certification was absolutely key for me to enter and grow into this space. You see those two things behind me? Amy Dufresne's signature has been on my PHR, SPHR from the time that I moved into a strategic HR partnership all the way up until now. And it distinguished me as well as gave me the toolkit in order to really fill in capabilities for companies that weren't doing certain things like succession planning, all around talent management, best practices that individual companies were not using or they weren't utilizing it to its highest capabilities. It really unlocked a superpower. This is also the other thing. I'm seeing it on all the job descriptions. I'm seeing HR certificate, even for executive level roles. I'm seeing that. Now, am I crazy in the chat? Let me know. Are you seeing that as not as some I see as optional or preferred, but I'm also starting to see some where it's required, right? So, what do you say to those that say you don't need a certification? You don't need that really to go through. And my response to that is, you're right. Certification is optional, but there's so many other benefits that come from that. JD, what do you to say to those that say, hey, no, you don't need certification to do this?
It's funny because decades ago, when HRCI started, we've been doing this for over 50 years now. Certification was something that it would provide the HR professional the recognition just among themselves, even to say, hey, we know what we're talking about. We know that we are highly qualified professionals. And I want to demonstrate that to my community, to my employer by doing this. And then it somehow kind of died out, or people prefer to do some smaller pieces of learning, which I understand. We're all busy, and the commitment to a certification is probably something that only those who are aiming for higher standards want to go after. But these days, I think more than ever, we're going back to the constant, continuous learning in whatever you're dedicated to. And that's what certification is all about. If you're going to be taking courses, webinars, attending conferences every week, every month, every couple of months, you're going to be doing something for your own professional development. That is what certification is all about, because once you earn your certification, you're going to have to maintain that active through the recertification process. And the recertification process is all about maintaining your skills, your abilities to do what you need to do every day at work, according to what is happening in the in the workspace and according to the trends. So a lot of things are changing in HR. The pandemic changed a lot of things, and there's a lot of opportunities for learning, no doubt, but you have to have some guidance for that. So that's where certification is going to be able to provide you with the frame, with the structure of where you are as a professional, where you want to be in a few years. That's something that HRCI also helps you with, the suite of different certifications that we offer. So what I would say is, make sure that you know what you want to do, have a plan. But we all know that sometimes things change. And what happens with HR is that it's so broad. I have met some HR professionals who say, oh, I've been doing HR for 20, 30 years. I'm like, what do you do? I'm in compensation and benefits. Well, that's just one part of HR. If you want to transition to something else, it's going to be very different. The nice thing about HR certifications is that it's going to give you the bare minimum, the basic, the fundamentals, the absolutely you need to know, so that if you ever change to a different position, you're going to know exactly where to start. And for somebody who's starting in the HR space, this is what an HRCI certification is going to offer you, the fundamentals of knowing that you can do the job because you have been through an assessment that definitely look for what is that you need to know in all the different sections of HR, which is very broad, and it continues to grow in different ways. Years ago, it was all about people coming from psychology, from law. Now, some of you are very much dedicated to HR. You study for HR. You get a degree in HR. That is fairly new, and but you probably already have an idea of what you want to do. Maybe you want to do talent attraction and development. Maybe you want to do. So this is where HRCI and the certification process is going to be able to help you, to provide you with some context of your professional career.
The best advice that I have for any HR professional is to be the most agile professional you can be, because our role is to support the business, and business needs change. At one point, it could be recruiting. The next moment, it could be training development. The next moment, it could be talent development, right? It could be, next thing you know, you might be trying to avoid a union from coming into your place. They're coming back, y'all, right? How do you become the most agile HR professional to be able to support the business regardless of what phase it's in? It's absolutely key. HR is not HR everywhere. What does that mean? That means your company practice, it is not the full gamut of what HR is, and it's in its whole spectrum of how it can show up. And so as the business change, if you know those additional components, you can adapt. Or if you were to leave that organization and go somewhere else, you don't come across as though you're that you're unforeign to all these other new things that have been a part of the HR toolkit all these years, right? It's a way for you to keep up to date. Last thing I'll say to this is that in this era of AI, and where all these manual, unique processes to companies are going to be automated, you know what's going to be left? It's going to be left on all the people-centric skills, all the things on how we can show up for people and helping drive that. It's going to be based off all those processes. And how do you keep up? One of the ways to do that is with certification. So you triple clicked on a few things, JD, as it relates to that, and then it's about doing it for the right thing as well, which is you see people wanting to do it just to confirm, hey, I know I got this, and it solidifies what you already know or what you need to know to enter and grow in this. Sherry, I know you had talked about it already, but from an NAAA HR perspective in this program, what are the additional capabilities that are being supported by NAAA HR in this program, and creating that direct pathway into HR outside of the certification?
Absolutely. I think it gives individuals an opportunity to do some mentorship and development, and so being able to connect individuals through the mentorship channels, I think would also open up opportunities for them in their career, and so whether that you're seeking a new position or you're seeking to grow in the one that, you're already in the HR space. And so having that opportunity to be mentored and developed, I think is really, really critical for a program like this to expand beyond. Now that I have my APHR, now what do I do? You know what I mean? And so we want to be able to create that platform for you, create that networking opportunity, connecting with HRCI. You're going to have a class of individuals that do life with, for a series of several weeks. And so being able to have that network opportunity with them, having that networking opportunity with NAAA HR. We have wonderful people here, a little bit of cake and ice cream too, so we make it real nice and sweet. And so you get to connect and really learn and grow from other experts in the field.
Then that's going to be very important. And I share this all the time, is that throughout my 20 years in this space, I never had a mentor, not a formal one rather, but and my network was who I was working with, right? I was a lurker, y'all. Can y'all believe it? I was a lurker on LinkedIn. Like, I came on just to look for jobs, maybe be nosy on somebody else's profile. But once I really realized the power of your network, because it's not about remembering everything. It's about where to go to get it when you need it. And you can't just tap into it when you need it. You have to nurture it, right? It's like a bank account. Don't withdraw too often, right? Invest in that, right? And that takes time and an outcome, and it requires some level of discomfort to come out of to connect with people you don't know. But this environment that we're talking about, especially with you coming in brand new, we want to reduce that barrier of that whole aspect of going out on your own. That you have somebody to help you move through that process. I still go back and I say, "Whoa, I wish this was available at the time that I was trying to get into this thing." Right. So thank you, JD and Sherry, for providing that aspect there. You know what? I'm sitting here. Y'all see these comments in the chat? Valerie saying certification is a must. HR has evolved tremendously, important to stay up to date. Oh, and our CEO of NAAA HR and COO is in the house. They're chatting out here. Erica Broadwater, and who else is in the chat?
I see Deidre in here as well. Deidre Gwynn.
Yep.
She's with our young professionals.
All right. Well, and again, we're all excited to connect with you. So, please do so. So let's talk more about this program. Now, even though we have a particular focus right now in this pilot for 8 historically Black colleges and universities, it's not limited to just those that are in this pilot. This is open to anybody. The way that HR Certified is looking at this is that it has expanded our capabilities in the Associate HR Masterclass with additional resources, with mentorship, with connections, with assessments, all the additional support from HRCI and NAAA HR to really guide this process even after you graduate and obtain the APHR designations after your name. So let's go through some of the components of the program. And if you have any questions, please put them in the chat. And again, it is open to anybody that's looking to enter and grow in HR with 2 or less years of experience in this space. All right, I'm going to share my screen. Oh, here we go. All right. So what you see here are all the components of the Associate HR Masterclass. It is 7 weeks. So we're talking about 20 hours of class time, virtual instruction. I will be the instructor. There's others may come on as well. everybody will have access to a career and test coach. What does that mean? Career coaching from NAAA HR, coaching from HR Certified, in which for those of you who may have testing anxiety or need to know how exactly what you need to do in order to pass a standardized test, because it is a project exam, we'll help you with that. You'll receive study materials directly from HRCI. It's online. Actually, JD is going to go a little bit more into what that's going to look like. And it also includes the exam, y'all. It includes the exam. You don't have to worry about paying extra application fee or exam fee to sit down for it. And then also, assessments are important. And the way that we look at assessments is kind of like an outside view on important components that could be critical for your success in this space. The first one is you can HR is a field in which if you have a gift, it can be used depending on how you deploy it. And so we have a career assessment based off DISC that is now going to tell us what your strengths are, but also how does that map to a career in HR, right? Not limited to. We'll put that asterisk at the end. Hey, you'll be good at this, but you could do all the other aspects as well. And then the other is well-being. HR people are stressed. We're going to tell you this, give you pre-existing condition before you come into this space, right? It is a very challenging profession, right? We deal with the power of people. And after COVID, people's priorities have changed, right? And corporations are much more demanding, and that's our role and our purpose. So to make certain that your well-being is, but you can't help anyone else unless you help yourself first, right? So where do you stand? Where can you work on that? Because the higher your well-being, the higher that translates to your level of results as being an HR professional. So these are just really high-level things, elements that stands this apart from just taking a course to obtain the APHR letters or designation after your name, right? So I'm gonna pause for a second and see if JD, did you have anything to? I know you're going to go into the materials more, but did you want to add anything to what I just said on the program?
Well, what I would say is that we really looked at putting together a package that would include your expertise as a trainer, your understanding of how to do, how to tackle the format of the exam. We included the cost of the exam at a discount. We are including the preparation materials, official HRCI preparation materials for this group. So I don't think that you're going to find a better offer out there these days, because we're really trying to put this in front of a community of students that will realize that budget might be an issue. So don't wait. That's what I'm trying to say. What you see in front of you is one of the best options that you're going to see in the market for this year, for sure. If you're thinking about it, this might be the right time to do it.
Sherry, did you have anything to add?
No, I think that you all have said it all. It's great.
We're going to drop the link on how you can enroll. We also are providing payment plans, interest-free, fee-free plans to access this. And so it will be equal payments over the course of the 3 months. And understand this. This is an investment. It is an investment. I will tell you that when I went through certification and I made the pivot, I actually made less when I made the pivot from and benefits to being an HR generalist. But I can tell you I made that back, and almost like a year and a half, I was more than where I was. And then a year after that, more than I ever had in my entire career, and everything just lifted up from there. And the data has it. Certified professionals are compensated more in their overall salary than those that are not. That's the data. And even think about it, if you're involved in a salary negotiation you're going to consider all those things in an offer, right? From a corporation to a person, to say, do they have a degree? Do they have their certification? How many years experience? All of those things are elements. And how does this skill set compare to those that are already in the job? So again, it's an investment into to you. All right. I want to make sure that everybody's there and with us. If you're there, give us 100 in the chat if you're still there, right? And it's really interesting because, again, that there has been so many unspoken rules of this profession, and you have to discover them to enter and grow in this space. And this is the first, and in my 20 years in this, is that there's an intentional effort to make that pathway clearer and much more defined, versus it being a mystery that you have to go out and find and discover and still have to push through. I see the hundreds. I see the hundreds in the chat. All right, I'm gonna turn it over to JD if he can let us know more about the HRCI materials that is included in your investment in the Associate HR Masterclass.
Sure. I'm going to share my screen because I want to start just by talking about what HRCI is all about. To begin with, I don't want to assume that everybody knows what HRCI is and who we are. Hopefully you can see my screen now.
Go ahead and bring it up, and I'll get off screen here.
Can you see it?
Give me a second here. There you go.
All right. So HRCI, we've been around for over 50 years now. During those 50 years, we have certified over 500,000 people through our suite of 8 HRCI certifications. We have a community that is present in over 125 countries. So we really are a global organization certifying people in HR, whatever you are, whatever you're into, whatever form of HR. And we are the gold standard of accreditations. We are the only accreditation, the only HR certification that is accredited in the professional space. On the screen, you can see our capability model, which is how we build our certification programs. On the left side, you're going to see the individual, the HR professional, and the environment, the surrounding space that we know is affecting the everyday work that everybody does. Not only just the employer, the strategies, the business, the nature of what the organization is dedicated to, but society and some of the different components that really affect how you do the work that you do every day. In terms of the different certifications that we offer, I know that today we're going to concentrate on the APHR, which, as you can see, is a 100% knowledge-based exam certification. What does this mean? That anybody who studies should be able to pass the exam. You don't need to have any experience in HR. And in fact, that is the main reason why we think that the APHR is such a good entry-level certification. You don't need to be in HR. You don't even need to want to be in HR. Let me give you a little of a history here on the reason why we built the APHR. APHR is the Associate Professional in Human Resources, was built with the idea of helping team managers to better communicate with the HR department about the needs of their teams, the people that they manage, so that they were able to really understand why HR asking me about the professional development of my employees, to really understand what are the laws that are going to absolutely be implemented in the workplace, so that I know as a manager that I need to be aware of this. So this is just the beginning of anybody in the HR space. And to that point, here's one of the images that I often show people to let them know that the HR career that they have could be tied to the different certification programs that we have to offer. So at the beginning, the APHR is the entry level. This is where you start your HR career, no matter what you do in HR at the beginning, whether it's just admin processing, whether it's just helping with salary distribution, anything like that. The operational level, the mid-level, is the professional human resources, and we have one for the state of California, since California is so unique in the legislation that they have. And then at the highest level, the senior, the most strategic level, the SPHR, and the GPHR, which is meant for professionals that operate in multiple countries. So let's say that you work in HR for a multinational corporation that has a presence in North America, Mexico, the US, and Canada. The GPHR is going to help you to better understand global mobility, what it means to operate in a global organization, and how to take into consideration what that means. For the purposes of today, I want to focus on the APHR, but here you can see what are the requirements and the responsibilities necessary for each one of the certifications. But as you can see in the APHR, I highlighted that it's really just for anybody who is starting the career in HR, anybody who is transitioning, anybody. I saw some people who are trying to get into very specific areas of HR. So this is the basic, this is the fundamental, this is from which you're going to grow as a professional. Some of the reasons why we know that this is a certification that has value is because of the background of data that we have showing that it's one of the most preferred certifications. It's valued by executive teams that really want to make sure that they hire the right type of people, and the way that people perform once they get the certification. We even have some data that shows that teams that get multiple people certified with HRCI certifications are going to lower the risk of having any legal issues, are going to better perform in terms of how the goals that the organization is dedicated to. So there's definitely a correlation there that we can say there's something of value with the certification programs. Let's talk about specifically the APHR, Associate Professional in Human Resources, meant for people early in their careers, does not require any education whatsoever or any HR experience. So it's open to anyone. And here you can see the different components of the exam. The percentages are going to be the weight of the number of questions that you should expect in the exam. So as you can see, this is really covering most of what HR is these days. So let's say that you really want to go into learning and development. So while it is 15%, that 15% is going to really cover what you need to know in order to grow in that space if you want to take some additional courses at a later time. To the point of what Anthony was mentioning before, what are the HRCI official study materials going to cover? Exactly this. We have materials that are really focusing on how to help you to pass the test, how to make sure that you know the fundamentals, the basic of what you need to know for the APHR. No more and no less. We're really confident that what we have put together is something that is going to make you feel that you're ready to pass the exam. And then just a few notes about the format of the exam, 65 score questions and 25 pretest questions. But what that means is that there's some questions that we're still testing to make sure that they are they're relevant, that are understood by the people who are taking the exam. So this is one of those things that there's a psychometric analysis, and this is why we are really thorough and why we have our accreditation, because we really take into consideration how the exams are being perceived by those who take the exam. And the duration of the exam, 1 hour and 45 minutes. So I think that's what I wanted to share with you in terms of what this is all about. Let me just make sure.
I'm back.
There you are. Going back to the format of the study materials, they're going to be online. You're going to be able to have access to 2 practice exams that really mimic the number of questions that you're going to have for the exam, that you're going to have a good understanding of how the questions are formulated and the type of answers that you're going to select. Let me remind everybody that this is mostly a multiple choice test, which means that you have to select the best answer possible. You might be in one of those positions in which 2 are absolutely no, make no sense, and 2 seem like they could be either one, but there's one that is the best one. That's the one that you have to go to. I'm not going to try to do Anthony's job, but I'm sure that you cover on how to approach, how to read the questions, and how to filter the best answer possible. This is one of those things that you have to have a test strategy. You have a limited time, number of questions, and a very specific way in which this knowledge is going to be thrown at you and that you're going to be tested on. So you have to make sure that you have a a game plan for that. I'm not a good tester, but I have taken several certification exams for HR, for other institutions, that this is the way that we are tested as professionals. So it's the best way that has been formulated in the market to make sure that we are getting the right knowledge.
Yep, there's three mindsets that you'll be battled, which is your mindset, your company's mindset, or what you think the company's mindset is in best practice. And that's one of the advantages of going through this program is we help you distinguish between those and real life situations to apply this thing, right? What I found, and is the basis of the way that HR Certified shows up, is that this is not a course for you to just pass the test. If you have that mindset of, hey, I'm just in this to pass the test, you are losing out on the ultimate learning journey that's going to set the baseline for your success in this thing, right? So if you limit it just to a pass-fail exercise, you're really limiting the learning journey and opportunity that presents itself. Okay, there's some questions that was out there. I think the first one was, can you get some research credits for this? The answer is no. I'm sure JD could confirm.
No, we're not there yet. You have to get certified first. If you're certified already, a preparation course for a certification is not going to help you. But in the spirit of giving a helpful answer, go to the HRCI Learning Center, where you're going to find over 200 different courses on demand, online, that you can have access to in any area of HR that you're interested in. And those are all approved for recertification credits.
I'm thinking that person is already certified,
yeah,
and was looking for ways to be able to do that. But there's a strict criteria to earn that. And in this space, it's not a way to prove that you were here during that whole period of time to do that. All right, we got another question here. Should this be the first thing to accomplish after graduation? You know what? I think you're limiting yourself to wait until graduation. You could take this while you're in school, right? Yeah. So I say, instead of order, it is I would do it as soon as possible, right? You don't have to wait until graduation to sit down for this. JD, did you?
Yeah, I think, if revisiting what I mentioned at the beginning, when I said that we partner with some universities through the curriculum alignment program, we often embed the certification program as a capstone. And that capstone usually is the last semester of universities programs. So this could be something that you do on your last semester, in your last year. Again, you, Anthony, are going to provide them with the knowledge which is necessary to pass the exam. So it's not, and like I said, you don't even need to be in HR. We have some people who don't even go to college. They just finished high school and they said, I want to be an admin person in HR. I don't want to go to college for that. It's very expensive, but a certification is going to demonstrate that I can actually get it done. So at any point.
Awesome questions. Did anybody see any other questions that was in the chat? Did I miss? And anybody have any questions? Please throw them.
I did see a question that said, can you take this class while in school for HR management?
Sure.
And yeah, the answer to that is yes. Just being able to balance this out, right? Actually, probably is the best time to do it, right?
We're even seeing some people who are not in HR, they're in business school, but they realize of the potential. A lot of organizations like to say that the most important thing of our organization is our people. Well, if that's the case, you need to know about HR. So some business executives are actually taking HR certifications just to demonstrate that they know what the value of treating their people, their employees, is all about. And the APHR is open to anyone. You don't have to have any background, and it's going to give you the ABCs of what it is HR in the US.
I'm going to pause just for a second because, I know we've been sitting here talking, but it'd probably be good to see somebody who's went through this process and what they have to say about it. So let's go ahead and bring up a testimony of somebody who earned the APHR and is doing great in these HR streets.
Hello, my name is Shakara Worrell, and I'm a Human Resources Specialist at Allegis Global Solutions and a former student of Morgan State University. I obtained the Associate Professional in Human Resources certification in October of 2023 and would like to share with you how that achievement has impacted my career. In the beginning of my HR career, my primary focus was to soak up as much knowledge as possible and prioritize building relationships. I simply wanted to learn from those around me and shadow as much as I could while learning the company and how HR impacted the entire organization. As my confidence and knowledge grew, I made my mark by suggesting fresh ideas and perspectives while devoting my energy to supporting HR initiatives. However, I still felt like I was missing a very important competitive edge: credibility. With human resources being dynamic and continuously evolving, it is so important to stay curious and invest in your learning journey. I shifted my focus to mapping out how I could contribute to the organization's long-term success, as well as my goals as a professional, and that led me to researching what skills would help me to advance my career. I found certifications such as the APHR help to enhance skills and keep you up to date with industry trends, and certified HR professionals often experience greater career satisfaction and advancement. They're up to 25% more likely to get promoted. Within a few months, I advanced from application to completion, and it made a significant change. I was promoted from coordinator to specialist, and I started to value and recognize my commitment to professional development in a strategic way. HRCI is well established and recognized globally, and I felt like I stood out having certified credibility. As soon as I received the paperwork that I passed, I felt an overwhelming sense of confidence. As I continue my journey to HR generalist and beyond, I have already invested in the next certification from HRCI, Human Resource Management Certified Professional, also known as the SHRM CP. As you embark on your journey, I recommend thinking about what you are interested in to help guide you. For me, it was my love for psychology. My previous studies while in school directly correlated to the same theories and people-centric focused skills that the HRCI certifications provide. Starting with the APHR to test my knowledge on foundational HR concepts, compliance, and ethics made sense in the very beginning as I mastered the basic concepts used in my day-to-day. As I continue to navigate through my path, I focus on balancing my technical knowledge with my soft skills. This has helped me feel ready to test myself on the next levels of competency in leadership, business acumen, and interpersonal skills. Combining academic content, certifications, and experience have given me a unique advantage in the HR industry, and I do not plan on stalling that achievement. I will leave you with this. The field of human resources is not just about policies, processes, and paperwork. It's about the people, the heartbeat of any organization. As you embark on your journey in HR and other fields of study, remember your role extends beyond the confines of an office or a spreadsheet. Pursuing certifications for professional development can be used to not just further exceed your value and credibility, but to provide the tools you need to serve the people in your organization. So, go forth with compassion, curiosity, and courage. If you want more information, I encourage you to visit hrci.org or connect with certified professionals. Thank you.
All right. Thank you to her for providing that testimony. We have countless ones. Those are ones that we're able to capture for the amount of time that we have. There's three things I just want to recap before we end off for today. The first one is, and this is a question for you, JD. What's the difference between APHR and SHRM CP? Because some people have been debating on that, or they may be confused about the landscape on that and on its differences and how it shows up in this program.
So this is a question that comes quite often, because as people research HR certification, they might see that there are other options out there. What I would say is this: HRCI has been around for 50 years. During 40 some of those years, we were the certifying body for SHRM. We were certifying all the SHRM members. HRCI is not an association like SHRM is. We always say that there's a space and a need for what SHRM does in terms of advocacy and policy and that sort of thing for the HR profession. But if you want to get certified, you probably want to go with those who have been doing this for half a century. That's us. And the APHR is the entry-level certification. As far as I know, SHRM didn't come up with something like it. They made it easier to access the CP certification. So that's something that if you want to consider, there's definitely that option for you. My understanding also is that the SHRM certifications are more targeted towards the HR business partner, while HR certifications are generalist certifications, which means that, I go back to my statement earlier of if you're clear on where your HR career is going to take you, look at what HRCI has to offer. If you're not clear, look at what HRCI is going to allow you to transition into, because we're going to be that cornerstone of anything related to HR. And then once again, HRCI has 8 different certifications depending on where you are in the US, in the world, in your different levels of your career, while SHRM, I believe, has 2 certifications. And the final thing, and the one that I always say it matters a lot to us, it is kind of our DNA and who we are as a certifying body, is that we are accredited. Our certifications are accredited, which means that we build this with the best quality integrity, following the processes that are required for any HR certification or any professional certification in this space. So it might not matter to a lot of people. They might not care what an accreditation is, but if you're going to a business school and that business school is not accredited, I'm not sure that it's going to be as recognizable as one that is. So HRCI makes sure that this is something that we live by, and everything that we build is according to those standards.
Sherry, if someone's looking at this and they want to be able to mentor or sponsor or show up and give back, what's the best way that they can do that?
So they can email info@naaah.org, and we'd be happy to connect with them. Now, if you're looking to sponsor a student or someone that's in this program, the cost is $10.99, and so if you're saying to yourself, listen, I don't want to give the full $10.99 today, you are able to still do that through the payment plan process, by dividing the $10.99 into 3 payments. You just want to state that in the subject line. So in the email subject line, indicate sponsoring a student, partially sponsoring a student. Maybe you don't want to contribute the full $10.99. You may want to contribute 150, whatever you want to contribute. You can utilize the email address and put that in the subject line, and then sort of explain that more in the body. Same for mentoring. If you want to mentor a student, you indicate, looking forward to mentoring a student, and then in the body of the text, indicate what you're wanting to do. You will then receive a mentorship application, so that way we can continue to engage you in the discussion of mentoring.
And also, just as a wrap up, this partnership is exclusive to HBCUs. SHRM is not offering this to HBCU students. So that's also another distinguishing aspect of our partnership with HRCI. Thank you so much. Thanks, JD. Thanks, Sherry, for joining and partnering with HR Certified. The internet is forever, so I will always remember that I had a sinus attack during this whole episode. But I was able to push through. That's what we do. We push through anyway.
We got it done.
we got it done. Any parting words, JD, that you wanted to say? And I'll have Sherry have the last word.
Just looking forward to the enrollment of this group and many others. We really want to make sure that this is something that happens several times throughout the year. So spread the word. Again, I'll say one more time. If you have somebody who is in a different program, not in HR, let them know that this is something that they can start easily with the first professional certification accessible and recognized globally. So maybe you enroll one of your colleagues, one of your peers, one of your friends to join you in this process.
That's right. Bring a friend along. And Sherry?
Absolutely. So I'm super excited about this partnership and just really looking to work with each of you throughout this process, even in the mentor capacity. So I'm really looking forward to that. I also want to thank Anthony with HR Certified and JD with HRCI in partnering with us to really offer such a unique and dynamic program, because SHRM is not doing what we're doing through this partnership. And so I'm looking forward to growing partnership with you all. So thank you so much. And to the audience, I really want to thank each of you on behalf of the leadership team of NAAA HR for coming today, and for those that are going to move with us on the next step. And I know it's all of you. I look forward to continuing to grow with you as well.
It's not goodbye. It's see you soon. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.